Oh, Inter 1, Udinese 2. Yeah, I'm gonna look up scorers. Dumfries 17, penalty. Yeah, for this goal, Dumfries is a good hold. Thuram was a good hold up. The Dumfries and a Bam. Looking Udinese. Dumfries handball. I know that is a similar handball ball by Darbian not too long ago. But yeah, what is what he's able to do with the body when he had your arms for balance? Because apparently, yeah, the handball. Because apparently, you arms. It's technically handball. You use your arms for balance. And of course, a second goal by Arthur Atta, where he blasted. And Bissek didn't close that. Acerbi got rinsed right there. So yep, Bissek. So we don't have the Bozo gene, but more of defensive intelligence. He's going to close that? No. But overall, first half, second half, disaster. I go first half. I know that you're still stats 16 shots before and 10 of 5. But it doesn't tell you the whole story. His first half struggled to beat Udinese's press. I know that they are a physical side, but first half it looked like we have a massive hole in the midfield. Because where is Hakan? You know, he's supposed to be our regista, but MIA. Where is Barella? Passes aren't linking. Susic passes aren't linking. Of course, strikers forwards are not getting a lot of service. In fact, poor service. You know, rely on DeMarco Dumfries to do the build up and be our creative outlet. And even then, we have Latoro dropping deep to get the ball. The mid, because Udinese, you beat their press, good. We can actually create something, but pressing for Udinese, they press well, which is not a surprise. We did well. Didn't cripple Inter's build up. Inter cannot build anything up for the 2 goals. After that, Udinese are leading at halftime. Of course, I expect them to sit back. I think Udinese seems like a type of team to sit back when we're in the lead, as expected. Of course, there's one goal by DeMarco, but it's ruled offside by the refs. Speaking of refs, I think that's surprising they didn't get a lot of calls for Udinese, I think. Also, that we can blame the ref all we want, but it doesn't explain it's a full 90-minute game. And yeah. They have, of course, DeMarco shot. It's like a VAR check. You know, there's like one defender's there, but will the other? Are we going to get that? Could have been like 2-2, but oh well. After that, I don't know what's going on with that. They have Udinese Park was expected, but cross. I lost track of how many crosses we done. Of course, he crossing it, even though Udinese's defense win the ball every time. I think they're giants compared to everyone else. Also, look at crossers. One who can cross. DeMarco, Bastoni, Dumfries, 3. You get the ball to them and hope for the best. Hakan. Yeah. Let's talk more about Hakan. So you can't be the regista, but somehow you can't take penalties. We're going to be in serious trouble with Hakan. because he can't take penalties. He's going to be pretty much a passenger. Can't pass. Can't be press resistant. Yeah, in fact, at midfield, looks like we have no control. In the second half, Udinese gave us a bit of control, but doesn't matter. They can actually sit back. We're going to sit back. Because I think Soleil, I don't know how his investigation would be, but he played well. Between him or Atta for man of match. But yeah, it doesn't show you into transfer market. Pretty much the same team. Only what, 3 or 4 new players? Which is okay. So you're gonna go in with a massive hole in the center back. Massive hole in the midfield. Because Hakan, he cannot perform at all. And you have Cherby, who physically finished and probably more injury prone. You have DeVry, who gets spun. And then you have Zalewski, sold for pennies and no replacement. I don't think Louis Henrique should be the Zalewski's replacement at all. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the board and stuff. Zalewski. Why? Sold for pennies. Aslani. I know I want him sold, but apparently Suja is our replacement. I do not see that at all. Which is terrifying. I mean, I get an actual DM. And then yeah, I know 4 is a refresh, but we already have went through our Primavera, and that's going to be our only signing in this summer window, not the Club World Cup. Summer, by the way. So apparently, we have massive revenues, record breaking. Yet somehow, I don't know, massive revenue, sell a lot of players, and some players with selling clause. Yet we only have like 4 players, and apparently our budget is going to be 20 million in the winter, and reserved for the winter, by the way. So, is anyone explain to me where is the money going to exactly? Where is the money going to? Because there are clear holes in the squad. If you should know about the football business, you got to invest to the squad, buy some players, and you got to buy some players, of course. I have lots of words. Because I think that I'm going to expect beat Chivu in a bit. Because for Chivu, because I see one flaw is if he gets frustrated, he loses his head. Like you're putting 4 strikers on the pitch, all 4 of them. On one hand, you get frustrated that tell the team to just cross and hope for the best. But in the other, what is he going to do with when the signings aren't coming, when he's not being properly backed? I don't know. Can we actually get Oak out for? Can we get Oak out of curiosity? I honestly think that. Yeah, you have the same. How do you have the same people, but a different organization running the club, making these type of transfers? Someone help me out there. You have the same people running the club under Suning, and yet struggling to make transfers. Did we just take away Bepe's power of finding 30-year-old uncles or something? But yeah, I have a curiosity about that. The transfer window is going to close in a day or so. And we haven't been linked to a center back. Actually, a center back in a while. No center back, no midfielder, and Lookman chasing him for a month. Absolute disaster. Kone is chasing for a week and then didn't get that. Yeah, absolute disaster is coming. It's going to be a long season, isn't it? Chivu is find it acceptable, then I may have an actual puppet. But keep a hope for the best, but I don't think it's going to go well. If that's going to be our squad. Summer, but I'm going to give match ratings. If Summer, I would give him it's out of 10, 6 being the average. If Summer, I would give him 5.5. He's conceded 2 goals. And penalty, you can't do anything much. Can't do much. Since when was the last time Summer saved a penalty? I do not remember. It's been what, since Fiorentina 2 seasons ago? Yeah, 5.5. But distribution's alright. You expect hoof the ball. Bastoni, I'm gonna give him 5.5. There are times when it looks so open. In fact, I probably won't give a lot of good ratings. Yeah, Chalanoglu, I forgot to put him. And again, it really doesn't matter if I put him. It's pretty much invisible. At Cherby, 5. 4.5. Physically finished. And sometimes got fleeced a few times. Back defense got fleeced. Bissek. Give him 4. You know, he plays like he doesn't have any awareness. The thing about Bissek is, when he's defending, it makes you want to miss Pavard. Yeah, Pavard, you're going to miss Bissek going up. But for defenders go up, I don't think it matters. So 4. The Ella place. Then close out for the second goal. Hakan, 3. No control of the midfield. And you take away and he does that. And minus the penalties. I don't know what he's do next. Give him 5. I don't think he had a good game. In fact, the midfield didn't have a good game since the passes are very off. DeMarco, I'm gonna give him 6 at least. In fact, I think the front 4, DeMarco, Lautaro, Toronto, Dumfries isn't too. Actually, DeMarco isn't too. Lautaro, Toronto isn't too bad. 6. I mean, the only creative outlets. One of the creative outlets. Dumfries, I would give him 5.5, 6.5. 6.5, but I take a point off for a penalty. Because really, if the midfield isn't clicking, we rely on too much more full on our wing backs to do something. Toro, I'll give him 6. I don't think he had a bad game. He's dropping off so much to help link up play. Rom 6. Again, not a lot of service. Isn't too bad. But heading wise, he needs to be better. He doesn't score headers that often. Also, another thing about being in the air. Bissek, 50-50 in the air, yet he's 6'4", 6'5". Didn't take advantage of that. Yeah, Bissek's been poor. Mkhitaryan, I'll give him 6. Actually 6, 5.5. Not much of impact. It's a wonderful debut. I mean, it's not a good debut, but nothing special. I think these are the only 2 subs. The rest are panics are I'm not going to raids because it lost the plot. Cross and hope for the best. I hope Pio gets more game time. Yeah, it shows some glimpse of what he can do. Chivu. I think Chivu is, I think he got the selection. I mean, it's just rotating for the sake of it. But the 3 subs, like panic subs. I'll give him 4 point. I'll give him 5. Because on one hand, you can blame him for the subs and the panic and losing their heads. In fact, I think Chivu also lost his head. Like have teams lost their heads. You really see it through this cross, like control the ball. Well, I just hope that Dove is match sharp, or Tessie be match sharp, match fit, because it's going to be a long season with Hakon, head out of space, Mickey. Well, he's finished. Referees 5. Because I'm not going to argue about the referees over and over again. It's going to be a very long season if we don't act in the transfer window now. Why wait until winter? I really honestly think that for winter, negotiations will be a lot harder. And given our track record, we're gonna sign no one or sign one player. Because that's really a track record so far in this window, in the winter window. Let's see. What's it discuss? Because I know that for this summer, a lot of market opportunities have been gone. You missed out on. Actually, no Camus though missed out on him. Actually, we didn't go try for him. Also missed out on Leon is definitely a miss out. I don't know. Who else did we miss out on? Because only went to Liverpool. It's Oak Tree. If they wanted to scout for under 25, under 30 players, get ready to actually spend. Because these are gem players where they're not going to go for less than 25 million. Apparently, it's a budget for a youth player. Problem is that most of these good young players will get over 50, 60 these days. They're competing against the Premier League. But yeah, we're Oak Tree. They gotta start spending. It's how is it that because you're not gonna find because how are you gonna find hidden gems like around less than 25 million? Susic is a rarity. The sec I know he had like what 6 months and it disappeared. Yeah, Bozogene and stuff. Because that's the one problem of finding players under 25, under 25, or under 30. You're not going to, it's going to be very hard to find players under 25 million. Given that a lot of clubs will be looking for them. What are you scout? League 1? Croatian League? Argentina? Yeah, that's really our only place to scout. Alright, I guess I'll see you later. Bye, everyone. See you soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, usual YouTube stuff. Bye bye.